Welcome everyone to the third sessions of NALA's AI and HR Learning Path. These are 4 micro sessions that we designed at NALA to help human capital leaders learn a bit about AI, understand how AI is impacting how we organize work and different tools and things we could be using in our own work, and also to learn more about how NALA is using this on very specific processes. So each session, we have a key concept on AI. We talk about business impact and how AI is changing how we work and how our companies are being run. We will always review some HR use cases so that you can start thinking about and hopefully get inspired. And we'll always share something cool that we're doing in NALA with AI as we continue to build a software to help our clients. During the session, please feel free to just write the questions. You can send them privately or in the public WhatsApp, and we'll do our best to answer the questions. If we're not addressing them right away, it's because either it's coming in the presentation or we think it's going to be better to wait until the end in order to do all the Q&A. So welcome everyone. My name is Jimena Paul. I'm the CEO at NALA. And today, Maria Fernanda Castillo, Mafe, she's going to be joining me. Mafe is not just a part of the founding team at NALA, she's the Chief Product Officer, meaning that she's the one leading the roadmap of our product and our software. Her team works very closely with NALA's client, and she has the challenging role of getting every feedback that we're getting from prospects, from clients, what we're seeing in terms of what's coming, and putting that into a roadmap that can be developed and work around with our UX designers, developers, and engineers. So I'm gonna just give a quick agenda review, and then I'm gonna let Mafe speak to you guys for a bit. So as always, we're gonna start talking a bit about what a talent-first culture is, and specifically how do we do that in the AI world we're living in. Then I'm gonna be doing a recap of the AI components that we went through in session 1 and 2. It's gonna be very simple, but it's the base. And if you were not in session 1 or 2, no worry. You're going to get all the slides, and you can always go back to the sessions. They're already available in our YouTube channel. And then we're going to go into what brings us today, the third AI sessions, and we're going to be discussing frameworks for redesigning work in the age of AI. We're going to do a practical case in how to apply those frameworks in roles and how that impacts career path. And then we're going to show you how NALA is working around talent reviews and how we're doing pretty cool things with our clients so that you could get a quick view of how we are implementing AI in supporting our clients with this specific process. So Mafe, to you.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. If you have joined us in the past in these webinars, I think that we are always reinforcing this concept, or at least our purpose in NALA is to do this. We really believe that the cultures that manage to attract and engage their talent are the ones that are going to be built for the future, like are the ones that are going to ensure the capacity to grow, to flourish. So the idea is that everything that we do in NALA, everything that we build is to help companies how to attract and engage their talent. And for this, we base our framework in like 3 strong concepts. The first one is like culture and leadership. So of course, if I have a company that has a great environment and I admire the leaders, I follow them, this is a place where I want to be working at. So this is fundamental to attract this talent. But the second component that is very important for top talented people is to work in high performance environments. So it's not enough that I have a culture that is like very friendly and like good to be, but also they want to be challenged. They want to feel that they are working with people that they admire, that they are learning and developing inside the company. That lead us to the third component, that is like opportunities and mobility inside the company. That it doesn't always means having the opportunity to grow like vertically, but it means how can a person can grow as a professional, as a person? How can he gain more skills? How can this person maybe get knowledge around things that didn't know before he goes to his company? So the idea is that every time that I'm trying to build a company that attracts and engages like talent, I need to work around these three topics. And like in Nala, we are always trying to build features and things that help companies to do this.
And just as a brief recap, so during session one, we talked about AI and how it's impacting leadership. So addressing that first vertical. Last session, it was all around organizational design and performance cycles. So how AI is impacting how companies build high-performing environments. And today, we're going to be talking about talent reviews, which is one piece of how an organization creates a system or a way of identifying those people that we really want to invest on as we want them to grow within your company. And again, just summarizing, when we talk about a talent-first culture, it's all about creating the formula that will attract and retain top talent at scale. And that's our main goal. Whenever we're thinking about a new feature, is how we're helping our clients achieve this with smart technology. So Mafe, back to you. Now let's go into the topic of the day.
Every time that we are talking about talent and succession and development, what we try to tell our clients like constantly is that this is not like a nice benefit to have. This is not like a perk that the employees want. This is like really strategic if I want to secure my operational continuity. So if I really am thinking, I want my company to grow, I wanted to be prepared for the future, I have to think about my talent and how I'm going to place my succession cards. Am I going to be prepared for the challenges that come in the future? Because every time that I look for, if I one of my critical positions is, and I have to look for this person in the market, it's going to take me a time, then the training, the investment that I had to do to bring this person, the productivity that we lost, probably the salary is going to be higher in the market. So everything is going to make it like more expensive. Every time that I bring someone from the market, maybe I'm bringing like a great professional. It's the perfect curriculum, but it doesn't have like the fit with my culture, and it's a recruiting mistake. So I have to begin all over again. And many times when we talk about development, what we constantly see with the companies is that they try to build these like career paths for the whole company. And like when you get like such a broad scenario, it's very difficult to really focus on what is important to the company if we are thinking about how to secure the operational security, the operational continuity. So if I'm really focusing on how can I make my company to last and not make it like it pass through struggles, like financial struggles and all of this, I have to think about talent and succession like cards. And in this matter, what we always recommend is that you focus like in three like basic things. The first thing is that we are always encouraging like companies to try to identify their critical roles and how is the mobility around those critical roles. So if I have critical roles, what is the profile of the people that is filling that critical role? What are the people that could like fill that position in the future if I move this person to another one? So critical roles, it was one of our main focus here. The second one is the skills development programs, but the ones that are like really focused on the skills of like not only the skills of the positions today, but also what I'm thinking about the future. And this is something that Jime is going to talk a lot about, how roles are changing and how I have to start thinking, okay, this position today, these are the skills that I need, but no, and even today, maybe I need these other 2, 3 skills, but in the future, like in 2 years, in 5 years, this is going to change a lot. So how can I make my workforce prepare for these scenarios? And the third thing that we are always also encouraging companies is that always give like visibility to your company, to your employees, to see how they can also they manage their mobility. So if they have access to the opportunities that the company is opening, to see what are the profiles that the company is looking for. To if I want to be in the future a product manager, what are the skills of a product manager? What do I have to do to achieve that position? If this is like open for employees, they can also come and look for this development by their own, and not only because I as a HR manager have to plan everything for the company, because it doesn't work like that.
So today we're gonna connect this, everything we've just said till now. We haven't mentioned AI, but in the world of AI, and going back to safeguarding organizational continuity as an HR strategic focus, we're going to talk a bit how AI is impacting roles and role design, and how we prepare people to get those roles in the future, how AI is impacting skills development programs, and we're going to talk a lot about evolving skills, and we're going to share some frameworks, and how AI is also shifting how our employees and our managers expect to engage and interact with technology we're bringing them, because AI is raising the bar on the whole employee experience. So think that every tool that you're bringing to your employees, they're comparing it to other tools they have outside of work. So it's also how we continue to give visibility and continue to design a journey where top talent have visibility around growth and how they can grow within the company. So today we're going to talk about role design, and we're going to pick one part of the many things that we can do in terms of organizational continuity, which is talent reviews specifically. So before we jump into that, we're going to now go to the AI learning component of the session. And I'm going to start with a brief recap of what session 1 and 2 were about. So on session 1, we really focus on basic concepts. We learn about types of AI and how we are right now in a phase where most of the things that everybody's talking about is the agentic AI. So think of it as a very complex calculator that you can give information. It can create images, graphs, whatever, but they also have tools. So it's important to understand like different types of AI and what are their implications. We talked about the layers of working with AI. So what we're seeing today in companies is some people are trying to understand which model works best. And remember, AI models, they're all different. They're meant to do things differently. So they're not necessarily good for everything. So one layer is, okay, what are the models we're going to be using in our company? The second thing is, what data are we going to give those models in order for them to be trained? So there's a big discussion on those topics as well. Third, which AI tools are we going to allow them to interact with systems we already have? So what tools are we giving our employees so that AI can help them already start helping them with tasks around scheduling, writing, and things like that? And the first thing, and I want to stop a bit here, it's the guy with the science. So what we're seeing today is that as AI adoption continues to increase, and as companies have a clearer view of the roadmap and many things they want to do during the next years, there's a big question mark still on what are the best practices in terms of the rules, the profiles, the workflows around letting AI become a living thing within the organization. So for those who are leading HR teams, you might be finding yourself in more and more meetings with the chief information officer, the chief AI officer, the chief technology officer. So a lot of HR teams are directly hiring people that come from technology, getting them into their teams, or in a lot of companies, the technology teams are taking a big part of the decision making around not just the rules, but also the tools and how the company is going to build the AI infrastructure, even if it is on things that usually would have been handled by HR. And then we talk about the use cases. And over here, we just very briefly talk about how AI, like you can have a use case around interpreters, meaning AIs that are very easy to implement, but they don't have a lot of autonomy. So it requires like an ongoing conversation, like what most of us do with Gemini or ChatGPT. Co-author, it's when You can work not necessarily at the same time, so there's a little bit more autonomy, but there's more complexity. It requires some training, some monitoring, etc. And the last piece would be deputy level, which is the most complex cases. But the good thing is that when you get to that level, there's a lot of autonomy. So we're seeing right now not only companies, but every area like HR trying to understand in which challenges they're going to use different levels of AI. And when we're talking about the deputy part or the co-author one, it's understanding on one things they're going to do it in-house, or they're just going to look for partners that are expert in those things outside. Because again, it always comes back to something that's going to require time, investment, and so it's not just about going full agent mode with everything, because it might not make sense from an investment perspective. The second session, this was last week, we talk about HR roles in improving performance, which is an ongoing thing that we should be working on within the AI world. So we went deeper into understanding how AI is impacting organizational design. We talk about the new unit of work, person plus AI specialized agent. We talk about some new roles that are emerging beyond technology, roles that are appearing in different areas of the company: AI product owner, AI ops, data steward, agent wrangler. And then how, going back to leadership, there's new cross-functional skills for leaders that were used to be considered skills that were required for people working on high-tech environments. Now it's skills that need to be across the board because of how work is going to evolve. And again, you can go back to the prior sessions and just go deeper into those topics. And the other thing that we reviewed was performance cycles. So the main thing was performance cycle is a huge investment, and we do it because you cannot improve what you don't measure. But the main goal of the performance cycle is to keep people aligned with goals and clarity of where we're going, is to create feedback loops so that people get feedback, because that's how humans learn and improve. And of course, as a way to understand where we should focus our skills development initiatives. We talked how with AI, this is going to shift, because again, what is not measured cannot be improved. But in this AI world, it's not just going to be about results. It's also going to be about this new concept that's called orchestration between humans and agents, if we really want to improve results exponentially. And we very briefly discussed some key concepts, KPIs that you could use as you want to measure how good are your teams orchestrating between humans and agents. And what you're seeing in the bottom part of the slide, we talked about this evolution. So going from a team that works together with some tools and technology to a team where everybody's already using AI one way or the other, to a team that works with AI, not just with tools, but with different agents within their own organization. And today, we're going to be talking about role design and talent reviews. Because again, the main topic here is to remind yourself the role that HR has in safeguarding organizational continuity. And for that specific topic, we're going to talk about how AI is impacting role design and how AI is impacting talent reviews. So when we think, and now let's go into a new topic, when we think about safeguarding organizational continuity, and we talk about role design, we do role design because we need to be able to recruit, but also because we want to prepare people as they grow in the company. So what we're seeing here, and this is just a way of representing how we feel sometimes, it's basically from the HR perspective, it's like we have to permanently go in and out of this time machine. So if we want to design a role and we want to get people ready, we basically need to try to go to the future, understand how that role is going to evolve within the next 2, 4, 6 years. And then we need to come back and start step by step building, like creating the building blocks and helping people advance into what we already know is shifting. And when we think about this, there's one thing that you could also do a bit of your own research if you haven't done so far. It's around frameworks for redesigning work in the age of AI. So what we're sharing here, these are public frameworks. These are just 4 examples. We share these examples not because we're big promoters, but because they have open resources. But what I want to say here is that from an HR perspective, this is part of something that we should be already in tune with. If you're not, this is the moment. There's a lot of information out there, because it's how the boards, C-level, management consulting are telling companies that they need to prepare. And when we think about role design, is how we're going to redesign the work for a new world where we have hybrid pods between agents and people. So again, these are just resources. You can, when you get the presentation, you can click and you're going to go to some Deloitte and McKinsey resources. They're more promotional. It's the first step in order to hire them to help you with this. We're not suggesting that. It's just we thought it was an interesting framework so that you can grasp the idea. And then the MIT and the World Economic Forum resources, these are more around studies. So it will definitely give you some insights, and hopefully it's going to inspire you. So with that being said, we're going to start with the first use case, which is let's apply one of these frameworks to a role and see how that impacts how we do career pathing. So this is NALA's framework for redesigning work. Again, it's very similar. This is just an example that we're using for this purpose. And this is something that we use with our clients when we're helping them go through this process of redesigning for the AI, like the AI era. So you take a role and you basically review the task, and you're going to put them in one of four buckets. The first one, it's going to be keep. So these are things that you're doing today, and you still think they're going to be human-led in the future. And these are usually tasks that require empathy, judgment, creativity, or ethical reasoning. So human leads, and they are supported by insights in this task. Handoff are things that we think are going to, for sure, they're going to be delegated to AI or an agent in the near future. So think of tasks that are repetitive, rule-based, data-driven tasks that AI can execute faster, scale more accurately. And so they're going to be handoff. Retire, given the new whole work experience, these are things that we might do today, but once things are moving, like they're going to disappear. And then create, which are going to be new things that, because we're going to be AI enabled, we're going to be able to do. So these are roles that are going to emerge as a result of the AI adoption. So as we were talking on session 1, how leaders are going to have to be able to orchestrate teams with agents and people, they're going to have to learn new things. And they're going to be different tasks around orchestrating and helping their hybrid teams improve performance. So let's just an example. I'm going to go with the sales representative. And the first step would be categorize. So here are just some tasks that we're using as an example of a sales representative. So today, they're building client relationships, they're negotiating deals, they're understanding emotional cues and problem solving. This is something we think we're gonna stay. And then they're also doing a lot of data entry, CRM updates, lead scoring, scheduling follow-ups. Even though there's a lot of tools, this is something that we think is going to be then fully done by an agent. A lot of the teams are right in this point transitioning, but this is something that we already know it's not going to be there forever. Retire, as we're seeing the user experience, now that AI is going to control the data, there's going to be no need for manual reporting, duplicate approval steps, repetitive presentation, because everything, the AI is going to be able to do that on an ongoing basis. So it's going to be real-time, updated, accessible from everywhere. And when we think about create, even if today we're somehow analyzing customer sentiment, creating personalized proposal, monitoring performance insights, with AI, there's going to be new things that we're going to be able to do. So when we think about the sales representative, we think they're going to continue to have a big component in terms of building relationships. An AI assistant is going to automate like every administrative task, freeing up time for this strategic conversation or one-on-one initiatives. And there's not going to be more manual reporting. You should be looking at solutions that are making sure that your managers and yourself get that like this, so that you don't lose time in that. And as we think about create, the sales rep becomes like a relationship manager, which is different. and he's an AI-empowered relationship manager, but relationship becomes a very important component. Okay, and if we already do that, that will be step one, categorizing and just going through the task and putting them in different buckets. Now it's time to plan for that evolution. And this is a very simplistic exercise. It's just to give the ball rolling. But on the left side, I would encourage you to check the dimensions. So how do you see this today, in 2 years, in 5 years? I would not worry a lot about the 2, 3, 4, 5 years. This has more to do with the culture and how fast you guys want this to happen. But it might be an interesting exercise. So you can review this after the session. You're going to get access to this. I just want to focus on 2 of the dimensions that we think are very relevant for HR. One of them being the key tasks that are going to be done by humans, where HR can help a lot into training people or just either recruiting or helping them achieve these tasks successfully, and these key skills. So like, let's go from one extreme to the other. While today a sales representative main task may be around prospecting, sending follow-ups, report creation, in 5 more years, it's going to be more around orchestrating AI agents that are analyzing market, predicting outcomes, and generating dynamic material. So it's a complete shift. And when we're talking about key skills, it evolves. So we're going from communication, negotiation, and persistence to data literacy, adaptability, AI collaboration, to hybrid leadership, system thinking, ethical and strategic AI management. So there's an evolution there. So when we talk about HR, it's again, when we're talking about this, it's extremely important that as we think about this career path, we take the trip to the future. We can use these kind of frameworks to help us think how that's going to be. And when we're hiring, if you're preparing somebody for today, you're not preparing them for the role. Like if you're preparing the sales representative for becoming a sales director, you're getting them ready for the sales director of 2 years or 5 years or 3, whatever it is for you. You're not getting them ready for a plan that's for today's sales director, because we will need to work in different timelines as we evolve. Now, before I give it back to Mafe, if we talk right now about roles and critical roles, and what are those roles where we really need to have a clear path into how we're going to prepare people for those roles, because we know they're going to be critical for business. Let's go to the other part of the equation. Okay, who are the people that we want to invest in, and we want to review them? So before we go into that, and this is a little bit of background around NALA. So in NALA, we see a lot of companies doing all these processes in silos. So today, NALA, it's a system that allows you to do many of these things: onboarding, new hire experience, engagement, leadership, performance management, talent review, succession planning. And the cool thing about a system like NALA is that it's not only allowing you to run all these processes in one place, it's helping you do a lot of things with the process and the data you're gathering. So from running the process, to analyzing, to reporting, to monitoring certain KPIs, to even starting to interact with some stakeholders, into guiding them, advising them, and alert them when there's something that needs to be done. And when we're talking about different stakeholders, we're talking about C-level, HR, leadership, and employees. So when we think of NALA, we're always thinking about how can we make sure that NALA has the ability to take more and more boxes so that we can help our clients automate and run, analyze, report, and monitor different processes and the analysis behind crossing them out, while our tool is a powerful tool for them to have available for their teams, their leadership, their employees, as NALA can also guide them, advise them, and alert them. So specifically today, and now I'm going to give it back to Mafe. Mafe is going to show you how today in NALA, we're using technology to help our clients run, analyze, report, monitor, guide, advise, and alert, specifically on talent reviews, and not just HR, but also leadership. And how with technology, you're able to go from a process that is it's done a yearly or a bi-yearly basis. There's a lot of data gathering, there's a lot of manual work, it's very painful. Sessions are they create a lot of frictions, into a process that it's meant to be run in the AI era. So Mafe,
I was thinking if you could.
Do you want to go over this or?
No, if you, I love it how you presented the last time. So if you
Perfect.
can, I.
So when we were thinking with Mafe about the talent reviews, we basically apply the same framework that we were telling you. That's why we call it the NALA framework. So today, HR lead sessions focus on updating an inbox and tracking names. And unfortunately, this is the reality. This is where, so it's part of the 80% of what happens in these sessions and everything that leads up to them. There's weeks of spending collecting data, consolidating reports, and scheduling meetings. And there's hours and weeks spent on these sessions with leadership. In general, leaders lack visibility. They don't have access unless in the meeting. Reports are very static, sometimes annual by annual, but it's not easy for them to access. It's not like an evolving process. And there's very little time for growth or retention planning. Risk tracking is very manual. And everybody wants the sessions and everything we do and this investment to be more around growth and succession and strategic decisions around people. But there's things that are holding us back. So when we think about what AI can do for us in this specific process, we see talent reviews being able to evolve from a one-off meetings to a living system where HR focuses on people growth and not paperwork. So with AI, humans can keep on leading the sessions, but HROs, it's more around driving strategic conversations on growth, mobility, and succession. We can hand off to AI all the material preparation, flag the risk, automates coordination, free HR for decision-making and working with managers. There has to be real-time continuous insights accessible to all leaders. So no more one-off reviews. And now AI can support the design and monitoring of plans. HR can focus on alignment, engagement, and development. And this, which is something that everybody wants to do, but it never gets done, which is around the actual design of the plan and the execution and the monitoring, AI can be a big supporter because that's not an easy challenge. And it's a place where we see AI co-authoring with humans that know the business and know the drill. So with this being said, I'm gonna head it up to Mafe. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Mafe, are you ready to go or do you want me to?
No, yes, I'm ready. Sorry. Okay. But I need Cami to share the ability to, now I have it. Okay, so here I am in Nala. In Nala, you are going to be, as Jimmy was saying, and as we were talking in the beginning, this is a platform that we are focusing on culture and leadership, as we said that it was a very important web for us. But also in the last session, we talked a lot about performance management and all the capabilities that could do for this process. And today, as Jimmy was saying, we are going to focus on the talent review process. And this is a process that mainly when we are talking about this is how can we map talent around the 9-box usually, and this is how you can do it in Nala. So here in the 9-box, the important thing for us is, as Jimmy was saying, that you try to spend the less time on building it and like creating presentations, Excels, and things like that to start having the conversation with the managers. But on the contrary, we want that the experience of building this is going to be like very smooth and easy for you as an administrator and very customizable, very personal, customizable. I don't know how is the best word, but things like that. So when you create a 9-box, you can do it with an Excel file because you want to upload what is going to be your Y and your X axis, or you can do it because you have processes in Nala, maybe because you run the performance and the potential process in Nala, or maybe because you uploaded the data from this process. So if I want to bring here a performance evaluation and I want to bring the last one, and maybe I also measure potential and I want to bring the last time, I can just click on the processes and all the people is going to be input here, or as I told you, you can do it with the Excel and they're going to be here. And once you bring everyone that you want to show here, the second thing that you're going to do is to, as I told you, like personalize all the experience for your managers, because the idea is that you try to bring this experience that you already have and in your company to Nala. So in the axis, you can name the axis as you wish. If it's not potential, but values or behaviors, you can choose the names. You can choose the scales that you're going to use in each box. You can customize like the names of the boxes, the description that the manager is going to see, the name, the number, even the color, to make it like very your company is already always seen it. Another thing that we have done here is, this is something that we learned from one of our clients, because we are always building the platform with our clients, with learning with them. And this is something that I love, that we have like the ability to create badges that are like important to you. And this is going to help you like filter. So if I create badges that are like, I don't know, I have a future leader, or I have like this program that some candidates can go to, and managers can go and pick and like mark the people that is going to be there. Then I just, when I'm seeing the name box, I can start like filtering for these badges. So I want to see everyone that is a performance concern, or everyone that is a high potential. And this is something that has been like very useful with clients, but also the risk and retention planning, because the idea is that if managers are going to spend like a time on positioning where the people should be in this nine box, is to take this opportunity to collect more information that is going to be useful to make decision in the future. So, for example, you can also mark here the attrition risk. Attrition risk is something that, as we talked on the last session, you can do it in Nala, and Nala has an AI model to predict this attrition risk, or you can just activate, and managers can say, okay, last time that I talked with this person, with Valerie, I felt that she's not very engaged, maybe she wants to leave, and they can go and manually mark if they are low, medium, or high. They can also mark the impact of loss. So if, for example, I'm talking about Valerie, that I said that she has a high risk of leaving the company, and at the same time, she has a high impact, because if she leaves the company, she's the only person that knows this specific process. So maybe she has a technical knowledge that is very specific that no one else in the company manages. So you can mark if it's low, medium, or high, and even the reason why is high. And also you can even mark like a retention plan if it's needed. All of this is because you can just put the names and take them. And if you want to not activate them, you can also like turn off these options, but we strongly recommend that you collect all of this data, because once you have all of this set, you are going to enable managers to see these nine books and also to make the adjustments. So the idea is that the first nine books that we are going to build, maybe is the nine books from last year, maybe is the last performance evaluation and a potential evaluation that we did. So we have like data, and then they can come here and start moving around their team based on how they like the conversations that we have with them. So this is where you can like add value in this conversation. So if I have Bruno here, I can see last year Bruno was here, so he has been like, I don't know why it's in a lower case right now. They can go and make adjustments. So if Bruno, it doesn't belong here, but it go here or here, they can move people around. They can leave us what do they think that are Bruno's strengths or improvement opportunities or next steps. They can mark, as I told you, the attrition risk, impact of loss, retention plan, the budgets. So everything that I start like choosing here is going to be data that at the end, for us, is always going to be like an Excel that you can start like prioritizing. So if I have I don't know, everyone that is marked as a high impact of loss, and has a high risk and it's because of technical knowledge. Okay, what I'm going to do with them. So as business partners, all of this information is going to help us to make decisions. And if you are powering all of this with AI, like even you can run a model to tell you what are going to be your action plans after doing this exercise, because you have, like in AI, it always says like you input garbage and that is the output. But here is like you're inputting like gold for your company. You're inputting like everything that is important in this conversation. And now you as a business partner can make decisions for the team that are going to um, help them like be better. And you can also, when I'm marking all of this, I can also mark if, I don't know, if I have a person that, like for example, Bruno, that is a high potential and has a high impact of loss, I can mark successors for him. I can mark potential career moves if I think it is ready for our positions. Everything that I'm doing here is going to help you to make like your succession pipeline and settle the roadmaps and everything to start following these career moves. And we are always encouraging that once you mark your potential career moves, is that you also mark your action plans. So every time that I start setting, for example, I'm hearing Bruno, and I said that Bruno, I have to share this screen. So I'm hearing in Bruno, and I said that Bruno could be ready for the position of sales director. I can see here all the associated skills for sales director and start to building action plans around the abilities that he could improve. And even if you want to go further, because this is something that we talked in the last session, if you are already assessing these skills, the skills from the current positions or future positions, you can also see the skills assessment, and you can start like comparing by position or by person. But sorry, I always like this one because I already have my case here, but I have like my sales controller, and for example, let's suppose that I have more here. I can start comparing everyone that fills this position. How are their skills? So when I build these action plans, I'm not going to build an action plan around accountability, but maybe I'm going to build it around organizational saving in Bruno's case. So our like invitation is always to, yeah.
If we could go one step before, so we were talking in the presentation around identifying those skills that are going to be required in a year, 2 years, like in the future. So if you could just show how within NALA, as we're thinking about this, we created a section where you guys can have the full skills directory. And what we're recommending our clients is that as they're doing this skills assessment or performance cycles, they can even do some of these assessments already including some of these skills, and so that right away they can start understanding where the upskilling or reskilling priorities should be. So if you could just give a quick look in terms of how you can manage this from NALA, I think that would be also helpful too.
Yes, we talked a little bit in the last session, and I think this is the thing that I most reinforce in clients is that when they build their skills like directory, the important thing is that they really have the time to include these skills that are like based more not just in the now, but also in the future skills that we need, and not so like transversal for everyone, but really thinking about what I need to prepare my people in. And you can do like all the descriptions of the skills, create like levels at all the levels that you want, create scales that are 5, 3. Well, here you build it as you wish, but then you can come here and start like assigning these skills, maybe because of the positions, or maybe everyone that is in the business unit of technology, business position. So I'm going to assign it to everyone here. And then when I do the skills assessment, I'm going to go to Hugo, Javier, Eduardo, and I'm going to measure those skills in all of them. So it's a very easy way of creating skills, giving and assigning these skills to people in a very mass way. And then when you do all of these assessments, you can start doing the skills by position or even by person. So if you go and look for a specific person, you can start building, okay, the career path. So if he right now is a sales controller and I want to move him to the next position, it's going to show me the skills that he already has like developed, the ones that he haven't measured, so I have to measure for him, and the ones that he needs to improve to be prepared for that position. And this is something that you as an administrator have the ability, the manager has the ability to do the same for their team. So this is not something that is only your responsibility. And even if the person goes to their profile, so if Bruno goes to his profile, he can see his skills report for the position he feels right now, but he can start like playing around and choosing other positions so he can see the skills that he needs for, I don't know, if he wants to be the onboarding manager, what skills does he need for the onboarding manager? How prepared is he in those skills to create a development around them, or ask for feedback. So it's like not only making HR responsible about this, but everyone, leaders, employees, everyone is responsible for these processes of upskilling and reskilling in the company.
Perfect. Martha, thank you so much for that. And this was just a bit of a glimpse of how we're continuing to develop our talent and succession module. So as I gain back the ability to share my screen, the next session we're going to have is going to be on organizational design, organizational modeling actually, and succession planning. So as we continue with this path, hopefully you were able to get a few insights and inspiration. Just to tell you, everybody that was here today, you're going to get the presentation, you're going to get the demo access to Nala, you're going to be able to go in and do and play around in the same environment Matthew was doing right now. And last but not least, we want to invite everybody to join our last session on October 30th on succession as risk management. Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about AI and how AI can be a partner in modeling the new organization, and also how AI is impacting how we do succession planning for this new type of organization. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are thinking about if you're either doing some pilots within your company around playing around, maybe doing some experiments with AI with your employees or even internally in HR, we would love to hear from you. We're always learning for companies doing fun things. And also, if you're thinking about getting a new partner for a more agile, data-driven performance, talent review, or succession planning process, we would love to hear what you guys are dealing with right now and show you how Nala might be an asset for that. So if you want to learn more, just go to nalarocks.com and we can schedule a discovery call, and we can explore where you are in your talent strategy and how we can help you. And looking forward for our next session on October 30th. So bye, everyone. Have a good evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where in the world you're connecting from today. Bye-bye.